The Senate Committee on Government Affairs will come to order. Mr. Secretary, please call roll.
Vice Chair Orenshaw, Senator Daly, Senator Krasner, Senator Goycochea, and Chair Flores.
Present. We have 3 members present. We do have a quorum. Please mark Senator Orenshaw as absent excused. And please also mark Senator Daly as absent excused and mark him present as he makes his way back into committee, as I know he's still sitting in a different committee. I want to remind everybody to please silence your cell phones. I'm doing it now myself. As always, please make sure that you provide your business card and/or just your information to our committee staff, particularly those of you who will be testifying in support, opposition, or neutrals, in case we got to reach back out to you and clarify anything. You help our staff a lot. I want to remind folk that we have 3 items on the agenda for today. We're going to take the items out of order. We're going to start off with Senate Bill 247, followed by Senate Bill 208, and then lastly Senate Bill 246. And right before we open up the bill presentation, members, we do have a committee BDR, which revises provisions governing local governments, BDR 20681, that we need to introduce. As always, us introducing this BDR at a committee does not represent that you in any way support the measure. It only allows for it to go down to the floor so that it can be referred to its correct committee. With that, I will take a motion. Senator Goycochea has moved that we introduce BDR 20681. Do I have a second? Senator Krasner has seconded that. Members, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those against say nay. Measure carries. All 3 in support. Thank you, senators. And with that, I'd like to open up the hearing on Senate Bill 247, which revises provisions relating to regional planning. I understand our commissioner is also going to be joining us from Las Vegas. Commissioner, welcome. And whenever both of you are ready, please proceed.
Thank you, Chair Flores. Joanna Jacob, I'm Government Affairs Manager for Clark County, and with me, as you noted, Chair, is Commissioner Justin Jones, our Vice Chair of the Clark County Commission, and for purposes of the bill presentation today, just recently stepped down as the chair of the Southern Nevada Regional Planning Coalition, which we will be discussing today. So I wanted to do a brief introduction, and then I will be driving the slides up here. Vice Chair Jones is going to help me with this presentation, so I will hand it over to him and we can get started.
Thank you, Ms. Jacob, and thank you, Chair Flores, and members of the committee, Justin Jones, for the record. I had the privilege of serving on the Southern Nevada Regional Planning Coalition for the past 4+ years and served as chair for 3 of those years. When I first joined the board, they had already been in discussions of really the future of the Southern Nevada Regional Planning Coalition, and had hired a consultant to take a look at where the SNRPC really fit in the scheme of regional bodies here down in Southern Nevada. The history of the SNRPC started back in the 1999 session when it was added to NRS and mandated regional planning in a county over $700,000. In the 2017 session, as a result of discussions that the SNRPC board had, there was additional language that was added to the bill that allowed for the Southern Nevada Strong effort that was led by the SNRPC and the city of Henderson, which really set out a framework for regional planning for Southern Nevada and allowed Southern Nevada to become eligible for several federal grants. Currently, the members of the board are 2 members of the county and then 2 members each of the 3 largest cities, with also additional members from the city of Boulder City and the Clark County School District. And really the point of the SNRPC as originally envisioned was to allow regional governments to collaborate on issues of regional significance. During the course of the last few years, the SNRPC has struggled to define its role amongst many regional bodies. As you are very aware, we have several regional bodies here in Southern Nevada that range from the Southern Nevada Water Authority to the Regional Transportation Commission to the Regional Housing Authority. And the SNRPC just struggled to figure out where in the scheme of things it fit. But definitely was an important body to allow for discussions of regional matters. We had a total of 18 meetings between June of 2018 and February of 2002 to evaluate the future direction of the board, and the ultimate decision of the board, based on the fact that the SNRPC has no dedicated funding stream and was reliant on an interlocal agreement between the county and the cities for any funding for specific projects, was to essentially mothball the SNRPC and come up to the legislature and ask for some additional leniency. We still see that there is a tremendous value in having a regional planning coalition that can be used as needed to address specific issues, but that in the interim, it did not make sense for us to continue to have monthly meetings where we had no true issues that we were funded to address. And unfortunately, the jurisdictions were unable to come up with an interlocal agreement to provide additional funding to address some of the issues that we had been discussing. And I will turn it back over to Ms. Jacob to continue with the presentation with regards to the bill.
The purpose of this bill is really to give us some additional leniency. I note here on this slide that some of the duties that are in the statute related to regional planning have been assumed by RTC, where it's within RTC's existing authority, as Commissioner Jones noted. This includes trail planning, some of our regional policy plan administration. That is the Southern Nevada Strong Effort. That is a regional collaboration with the county and the cities and many community partners, which is our regional plan, really, in Clark County. We've done land use forecasting through RTC, and really they've taken over some of the duties related to planning, and as a metropolitan planning organization for Southern Nevada. We, as Commissioner Jones noted, there's no dedicated funding, so we know that there are other areas of collaboration that are ongoing. We have regular regional collaboration in Clark County, including where we have specific issue expertise. So for example, on housing policy, as required by HUD, we have the continuum of care. That is actually something that we do to continue to receive grant funding. We also, Clark County runs the Desert Conservation Program as a regional service. And as Commissioner Jones noted, we have agreed jointly in our August meeting at the SNRPC, the cities and the county and the member organizations represented on SNRPC had agreed to step back and so see if we could get some more permission and then continue discussion of an interlocal when we get back home. So this is really where I'm acknowledging that the SNRPC met and that the board had voted in August 2022 to pursue this bill. This is really where we started and what we intend, that there's value in regional planning and collaboration, and we are not, and I know that I was presented with some opposition right before this hearing with some opposition about whether we are getting rid of the SNRPC. We are maintaining it as an option for us to have for regional collaboration, but we're changing the mandates throughout to reflect what's going on the ground and also to just give us that flexibility to negotiate what it looks like for us in Southern Nevada. We believe that there's still maybe a role for the SNRPC. Right now, we're using it to review population forecasts. We think that that's why the language throughout on reviewing projects of regional significance is permissive. The development of the plan is permissive. There may be matters coming out of this legislative session that we may need to reflect in the interlocal, and this would give us the permission to do so. So if this bill passes, the county and the cities would continue to negotiate the interlocal agreement to determine the scope of our future collaboration. So this is where I kind of, it's really, that's our intent throughout the bill. You'll see that there's language throughout the sections where SNRPC is laid out, where we're saying that this may happen if we do the regional planning coalition, that this may happen. So this is in section 6 and 7 and 10. This is where we're reflecting that of the bill that the RTC has taken over the responsibility for conformity review for master plans submitted by the cities and the county. So that's done on a regional basis. We have in section 1 and section 11, we have some language in here where we are deleting reference to the SNRPC. That is because the air quality review that is contemplated in that section is actually federally required to be done in compliance with the Clean Air Act. We need to coordinate with RTC. So that, again, another regional body as the Metropolitan Planning Organization. And then that goes back to our Board of County Commissioners for a public hearing required under the Clean Air Act. And so that is why we're asking for permissive language there. Again, just because we are removing that does not mean that we couldn't contemplate having a review of this in the interlocal agreement or before whatever the SNRPC looks like in the future. We have deleted only one section, and this was at the request of the RTC. At the end, you'll see some deletion of bus turnout language. That's because it is very old language that actually RTC has already completed the duty under that statute. We put in some permissive language. The reason why we've asked for permissive language in Section 4 and Section 5, and this is about housing incentives, something that is being discussed before this very body. That's why we have asked for permissive language there. So if there is something that comes out of this legislative session, we can use SNRPC as a way to discuss this as a regional level. But we also do have regional conversations also happening through our HUD Continuum of Care, and that's our social service agencies with the cities and a lot of community partners, and as well as the Southern Nevada Regional Housing Authority. And in Section 5, that is actually the big planning section of the bill, and that's where we are saying that we are already collaborating with the Southern Nevada Strong Effort. And these are some of the things that we have worked on collectively. Heat island mapping, if we've discussed affordable housing issues through that effort, water, community health, that is happening with the RTC-led effort of Southern Nevada Strong. Again, it's permissive, so we can always bring it back to the SNRPC under the interlocal if we need to do that, if there's something that does not fit within what we have contemplated in Southern Nevada Strong. Really, Section 8 and Section 9, we've asked for permissive language because, as Commissioner Jones noted, we don't have a budget or we don't have a dedicated funding source for this. So if we are able to come to agreement on a budget, then we can create a budget. Section 9 would allow us to, the SNRPC was originally contemplated to employ or contract for staffing. In reality, it is a volunteer effort. The planning staff from all the cities staff this, and Clark County provides the administrative support. So that means we do the minutes, we do the agendas, we host it, and that's a voluntary basis. That's really the end of the presentation. I guess that's really, and I guess I will leave it, see if Commissioner Jones has any closing comments, but with regard to the opposition, I think this is one of the things I would like to say. Just because we're asking for the permissive language does not mean that we don't see a future value in regional planning. So we're just asking for flexibility to get out from the mandates that are in there right now so that we can continue to negotiate as we are currently doing with our city partners in the county and those who are involved in the SNRPC. So Commissioner Jones, I don't know if you have anything else to add.
Thank you, Ms. Jacob, and Justin Jones for the record. Thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. I appreciate you considering this bill. I just wanted to say it wasn't for lack of trying by the SNRPC. Many of us believe that regional planning was absolutely critical for Southern Nevada, and we had identified issues that were of regional significance. In 2021, we identified climate change and the heat island effect as a primary concern that definitely affected the region. We went down the road of providing opportunities for collaboration amongst the jurisdictions, and unfortunately, because of the funding issue that continued, We just weren't able to get there, and as a result of that, Clark County's Department of Environment and Sustainability, which does have a funding source, took on that responsibility itself, as has the RTC taken on many of the functions because it again has a dedicated funding stream. So I'd appreciate the committee's consideration of this bill.
And thank you both for the presentation. Members, any questions? Senator Daly, please.
And thank you, Mr. Chair, sorry for being late. Sorry for missing the first part of your presentation. If this was answered in there when County Commissioner in Southern Nevada. So there was a requirement, a mandate, if you will, basically for some of this stuff to be happening. So where did it break down? Whatever was it just a budget issue, or you couldn't come to agreement? And flexibility is if that's what you're asking for, I don't think it's necessarily a problem, but this has been in statute for quite a while. And what was the breakdown? Why weren't you? How did it not happen? I was just curious. Not that I'm throwing rocks. Don't think I am. I'm just asking.
Yep, Joanna Jacob for the record on behalf of Clark County. I guess I can hand this over to Commissioner Jones to kind of give you his thoughts on the breakdown. I think to his point, it's not for lack of trying. We actually, when we realized that things were changing in Clark County, we actually procured, and Senator Daly, perhaps you missed this part of the presentation because it was way at the beginning, but we actually had engaged a consultant to try and help us with strategic planning and what is next steps. And so that's really the effort that we did. And we went back and forth about what it should look like. And really, this is the piece that we really, I think it is the funding and ultimately when we talk about the future direction, we have to figure that piece out, and we think we can, because there's regional collaboration, and we are committed to still ongoing discussions about the interlocal. But Commissioner Jones, I don't know if you have some more specific thoughts on in response to Senator Daly.
Thank you, Ms. Jacob. Justin Jones for the record. Thank you, Senator Daly, for your question. I would echo Ms. Jacob's sentiments. And just, I would add one other thing. Not having a funding source was absolutely the driving force. We had a draft interlocal that we circulated amongst the jurisdictions in 2020, latter part of 2021, to really focus on climate change and one other issue that we had identified as an issue of regional significance. Unfortunately, although we had unanimous support amongst the members of the SNRPC, there was not the same commitment to regional planning from other members of City Council, County Commission, et cetera, for regional planning, and that led to disinterest in providing additional funding via the interlocal.
And thank you for that. We understand sometimes it's difficult for us to get along. But I appreciate you walking very cautiously through that question. I know that we put you in a tough spot. Thank you for that. Members, please, Senator Goycochea.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. And I know it's in the existing text, but it talks about the three largest cities and the City Council and the County Commissioners. I was just curious about some of the smaller jurisdictions near and dear to me, Boulder, Mesquite. Have they been invited, and do they wish to participate, or will they be invited?
Thank you, through you, Chair Flores, to Senator Goycochea, Joanna Jacob, on behalf of Clark County. Actually, Boulder City is a member of the SNRPC and actively, I know Councilwoman Bridges sat on it for a long time and regularly attended and participated. And Commissioner Jones, I believe that she attended. I know I've seen her throughout the minutes, and so we do have participation from them and also from other community partners. Commissioner Jones, do you have anything to add?
No, Justin Jones for the record. Mayor McManus and then later Councilwoman Bridges were very active on the SNRPC and quite frankly very supportive of the SNRPC's mission, but were equally as frustrated that we weren't able to come up with an interlocal that everyone could fund and agree on.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Members, any additional questions? Seeing none, thank you both for the presentation. If I could have you sit back. And at this point, I'd like to invite those wishing to testify in support of Senate Bill 247, either Carson City or Las Vegas. We have some folk here in Carson. Good afternoon, welcome, whenever you're ready.
Good afternoon, Chair Flores, members of the committee. Jack Giese, for the record, representing the RTC of Southern Nevada. Last name's Giesea. Ms. Jacob and Commissioner Jones did an excellent job distilling the functions that have been transferred over to the RTC. We fully intend on continuing to carry out those functions, and as the administrator of the Southern Nevada Strong Steering Committee, we'll be working with our local government partners to address the future of regional planning in Clark County and on our common priorities.
And thank you. Please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members of the committee, Nicole Rourke, representing the city of Henderson. As a regional partner who has a seat on the SNRPC, we're here to support the efforts so that we have flexibility moving forward as we see fit for different regional planning needs. And we also appreciate RTC's ongoing commitment for the Southern Nevada Strong plan. It's certainly been important to us as we look at different transportation needs in the region. So thank you.
And thank you. Please.
Chair Flores, members of the Senate Committee on Government Affairs, for the record, Leonardo Benavides, representing the city of North Las Vegas. Just want to echo the sentiments of my local government colleagues. We appreciate the county for working with us throughout the interim. Obviously, the city of North Las Vegas is a proud member of the SNRPC as well, and we appreciate the flexibilities it's bringing forward. Thank you.
And thank you. Seeing no one else in Carson City or Las Vegas, we'll go to the phones. BPS, anybody in support of Senate Bill 247?
If you'd like to testify in support of Senate Bill 247, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue.
Good afternoon, Chair Flores and committee members. For the record, my name is Brian Harris, and I'm calling on behalf of Battleborn Progress. We're in support of SB 247, and we thank this body for spearheading this measure. Nevadans are already living through climate change, heat waves, drought, air pollution.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
Our health, environment.
I'm going to interrupt you just for a quick second. I apologize. I don't think it was clear. Are you in support or opposition? And I apologize. I think I didn't hear you correctly.
Oh, it's okay. I'm in support.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to clarify. Thank you.
You know, I can keep going?
Please do.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Climate change is already affecting our health, environment, and the ability to make a living wage. Low-income, Black, Indigenous, and Nevadans of color are especially suffering living in areas with higher temperatures, dirtier air, fewer green spaces, and higher energy bills. But it does not have to be this way. As Nevada makes plans to fight climate crisis, this body must consider creative solutions such as this bill that will address air pollution and the other jarring effects of climate crisis we are facing today. We urge your support of SB 247. Thank you.
And thank you for joining us. Next caller, please.
The public line is open and working. There are no callers at this time.
Thank you. Now I'd like to invite those wishing to testify in opposition to Senate Bill 247, Carson City or Las Vegas. Good afternoon. Welcome. Whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Chair Flores, members of the committee. I'm Patrick Donnelly. I'm the Great Basin Director with the Center for Biological Diversity. We are opposed to this bill. Certainly, there are many regional planning efforts going on in Southern Nevada, and Commissioner Jones, who spoke earlier, has spearheaded some of those efforts, to be sure. However, there are many planning efforts and regional collaborations on planning in Southern Nevada to the point where it's a bit chaotic. And it seems that a coordinating body that would coordinate all of those efforts would be a useful tool. We have concerns that simply mothballing or, de facto eliminating this coalition would remove a tool for coordination, but also transparency. And that's another concern with the bill, is the bill would eliminate public comment at these meetings on some of the submitted materials, and that is also of concern. I would also highlight that you should have a letter from the Sierra Club in opposition to this bill, so I think the environmental community does have concerns with this particular approach. Thank you.
And thank you for joining us. Please.
Chairman Flores, member of the committee, Kyle Rorank, Executive Director of the Great Basin Water Network. We oppose SB 247 for many of the reasons that were just echoed by Mr. Donnelly, and I think, at this time especially, there are a lot of folks who are predicting a lot of growth down in Las Vegas, and with Lake Mead at the levels where it's at, I think we need to be very cautious and have more communication among as many community members as possible about what the future may hold as it relates to development. And so I think, the multiple provisions in the bill that take away public comment and opportunities for participation just give us pause. So again, we thank you for your time, and that's all we have.
And thank you for joining us. Is there anyone else wishing to testify in opposition to Senate Bill 247? Seeing none here or Las Vegas, BPS, do we have anybody wishing to join us over the phone?
If you would like to testify in opposition to Senate Bill 247, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue. There are no callers choosing to testify at this time.
Thank you. BPS, will stay on the phone. Anybody wishing to testify in the neutral position, Senate Bill 247?
Public line is open and working. There are no callers at this time.
Thank you. Anyone in Las Vegas or Carson City wishing to testify in the neutral position? Seeing none, if we could please have Ms. Jacobs join us for any closing remarks. Maybe the only issue you could potentially address is the concern of public comment and the community involvement concerns that were raised.
Thank you, Chair Flores. I'd be happy to address those concerns. I think the reference to public comment is the changes that we did in Section 1 and Section 14. And that was because we are going to the RTC to do that, public meeting, that allows the opportunity for public comment in Section 1 for the review, and then also Section 14 for a hearing on that, on the adoption of our regional plan. I would also note that, as Commissioner Jones noted, that this is a regional service provided by Clark County, who sits as our Air Pollution Control Board. That is a dual function of the Board of County Commissioners. We have regular updates from our Department of Environment and Sustainability at our board meeting, which these meetings are heavily attended with opportunity for public comment before the meeting and after on any subject, and we meet biweekly. This is, I think that this is one of the things that we I do understand the concern about removal of public comment, but I will also note, and it's really out there, that SNRPC has not, because of our failure to come to an agreement, has not been meeting on a regular basis. And I would argue that our Board of County Commissioners and RTC Board do meet on a regular basis, offering more opportunity for public comment and participation. Commissioner Jones, do you have any other closing remarks?
Thank you, Ms. Jacob, and thank you, Chair Flores and members of the committee. I would echo your sentiments, and also, to be quite frank, if those in opposition to the bill have any proposals for how to provide a dedicated funding source for the SNRPC, I think we'd certainly be open to them. But absent a dedicated funding source, this is a continuation of quite frankly, an unfunded mandate, and we appreciate the flexibility to address regional issues as they come aboard.
And thank you both for the presentation. With that, we'll go ahead and close out the hearing on Senate Bill 247. And next, we will open the hearing on Senate Bill 208. Good afternoon. Welcome whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Senator Flores. Members of the committee, A.J. Dalap on behalf of the Griffin Company representing Amarak this afternoon. With me on my left, I have Michael Pate, who is also a representative of Amarak. What I'd like to do, just to start off with, is just give a brief overview of what SB 208 hopes to do, and then do a little bit of housekeeping as far as the language is concerned. And then I'd like to bounce it over to Michael to speak about what the entity does and what the product is that they provide. So with your permission, Chairman, I'd like to continue. Okay, thank you, sir. What our intent for SB 208 is to provide clarity to local governments on how to properly regulate, provide ordinance and code for the installation of energized fences, which is what Amarak does. What has been occurring, and I understand it, it's a difficult thing to negotiate through as far as whether or not it's a fencing system or an alarm system or none of those two. We believe that the language found in 208 gives clarity to what that is and how to properly permit and authorize them, these type of security systems. And so that's the intent of this. What's been going on is that various jurisdictions are struggling with that through the years, and it's been difficult to obtain the necessary permits in order to properly install these and legally install these systems. And sometimes they make it through, sometimes they don't. Sometimes the local governments will authorize it, sometimes they won't, and there's really no clear path established for that. So we believe by making this a state law on how to properly do that, it'll help facilitate this, assist local governments in making that decision, and these products can make their way to help prevent crime. And that's what they're designed to do. They protect property. They're effective. I think Michael will speak of a 90% decrease in criminal activity that occurs on properties that install these systems. And I don't want to take too much of his thunder, but I think you'll hear testimony regarding that. Okay, so there's my opening on it. Now to the housekeeping aspects of the language. So if you refer to the bill at the top, section 1, subsection 1, you're going to find the word may, line 4. We're suggesting that that be changed to shall. The reason why is that we believe this language is strong in current form, but we could make it just a little bit stronger to help motivate the local governments to implement this by adding the word shall. We've spoke with the primary sponsor of the bill, and there is agreement there. And we will continue to entertain conversations with other stakeholders, but we hope to see the word shall replace may. A little bit farther down, section 2, sub D, line 14, I would like to just describe this. This was asked by other interested parties, that just D and E basically describe two different systems. Same system, different way of applying it. You've got one that has a fence that has a standoff fence. It's not energized. So picture a 5-foot fence, non-energized. Beyond that is another fence that is energized. So that's one way to install these. And then you'll find that in sub D. If you go down a little bit farther into E, that describes a fence that's not energized up to a certain height, but then that height above it, up to 2 feet, can be energized. So that could be one continuous fence. The lower section being non-energized, up to 2 feet above it being energized. And the idea behind that is that prevents people who unknowingly bump up against it. They would hit that non-energized portion of the fence and not have any issues. Of course, this would all be signed, warning persons that there could be an issue with that. So those are the two housekeeping items I'd like to add. And then if you go to section 2 on the next page, and that talks about the municipalities, the same language is in there as well as in the first page. So that's my opening. So if possible, I'd like to now hand it off to Michael Pate on my left to describe the system more specifically.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Michael Pate here with Amarok, members of the committee. Basically, what I'm going to do is give you a little primer on how these things work. So they're basically charged or basically run on a 12-volt battery, just like the battery in your truck or your car. Those batteries are kept charged with a solar array. So we were solar before solar was cool. We were doing this in the 90s. And, we just basically, if the power goes down, we want to stay up and running because that's when the criminals come out. So you basically take that 12 volts and you amplify it with an energizer to 7,000 to 9,000 volts. That takes 1.1 second to do that. So the interior line is dead for 1.1 seconds. Once that energizer is loaded, it releases that energy down the interior line, and in 3/10,000ths of a second, we do a quick perimeter check back to an alarm panel. So no matter how large the property is, we're basically going at almost the speed of light. Comes back to an alarm panel. If we get 5 consecutive negative returns, we set the alarm off, audibly on the site and silently back to our call center in Columbia, South Carolina. My competitors do it the same way, just with a different call center, obviously. So we go through a call list. We're not connected directly to the police department, so I go through a call list. As an example, let's say AJ is number 1 on my call list. I get him at 2 o'clock in the morning. I can tell him where the break is. He can look at that particular line with the cameras that we also install with these devices and decide whether he needs to call anybody or not. It could be a snowstorm, like you've had a lot of snow out here this year, took out a tree on the corner of that particular property, dropped the fence line, hey, let's button it up and go back to bed, we'll take care of it in the morning. Or I've got 5 guys in a flatbed truck robbing me blind, please call the local police department. That's a verified alarm. Police love them, they know where to go and what to expect. And that's basically what we do. We've passed legislation like this in 18 different states. Some of your neighbors, Utah, Arizona, Oregon, all have basically this same law on the books. We are basically 90% to 95% effective in stopping crime on those sites. People just do not want to come in and touch these devices. They are behind an existing fence line or a wall. Someone has to be committing criminal trespass to come in contact with the device. They are signed in English and Spanish at a minimum with the international sign for shock, please don't touch the device. So that's basically how they operate and what we do. And if you have any questions at all, I'd be glad to answer them.
Thank you for that. Members, any questions? And I know we had an opportunity to speak at length, and I appreciate the time that you put into those conversations. But I don't think we have any questions at this time. I'd like to invite you to sit back, and I'd like to invite forward those wishing to testify in support of Senate Bill 208. Good afternoon, welcome, whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. Isaac Hardy, representing Nevada Pick-a-Part in Southern Nevada. These systems are extremely important for the security of our businesses, and we really appreciate you bringing this forward, Mr. Chair, to standardize the rules surrounding these devices. We stand in full support of SB 208 and urge the committee to support as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else wishing to testify in support of Senate Bill 208? Seeing none, BPS, do we have anybody wishing to join us over the phone?
If you would like to testify in support of Senate Bill 208, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue. The public line is open and working. There are no callers at this time.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to invite those wishing to testify in opposition to Senate Bill 208, and BPS will start with those on the phone.
If you would like to testify in opposition to Senate Bill 208, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue. The public line is open and working. There are no callers at this time.
Thank you. And anybody in Carson City or Las Vegas? Seeing none. BPS, anybody wishing to join us in the neutral position over the phone?
If you would like to testify in neutral to Senate Bill 209, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue. The public line is open and working. There are no callers at this time.
Thank you. Now we'll come back to Carson City. Please, whoever wishes to go first.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and members of the committee. For the record, Mike Cathcart, representing the city of Henderson. We're up in neutral today. I just want to thank Mr. Delap for all the work he's done on this and the discussions he's had with us as local governments. We need some time to digest the may to a shall, so we're getting that down to our people, but we just want to be on the record that we want to continue to be at the table and work on this. Thank you.
Thank you. Please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. For the record, Kelly Crompton, representing the city of Las Vegas. We also echo the comments of our colleagues at the city of Henderson. We just saw the proposed amendment language from the may to shall. We also would hope to open some conversations around how we are approving these applications and some clarity on, is it a fence, is it an alarm system? But I think that we can get to a place where we can get those questions answered. Thank you.
And I appreciate that. Thank you. And I know the genesis of the bill was very much that question that you just asked at the end. And I know there is a lot of confusion, so we're hoping to clarify that. And thank you for working with Mr. Delap. With that, anybody else wishing to speak in the neutral position? Seeing none, any closing remarks we may have? Any closing remarks? AJ, I don't think we could just close it out. Yeah, we'll close it out there. And with that, we'll go ahead and close out the hearing on Senate Bill 208. And I'm going to give just a minute so that we could get our senator here who's going to be presenting Senate Bill 246. If we could just please notify her that we are ready for her. And I will also message her. We will be in recess for 1 minute, please. 1 minute only. We are in recess. The Senate Committee on Government Affairs will come back to order. Senator Neal, welcome to the hardworking committee. And we are going to open the hearing on Senate Bill 246, whenever you're ready.
All right. Good afternoon. I apologize for being delayed. I was in the Senate Education and Judiciary meeting, which is still going. So I'm Senator Dina Neal, here to present SB 246. So why SB 246? Why this public policy? There's been a lot of workforce bills, but this one in particular, I wanted to create and bring forward because of what I had been seeing, particularly in Senate District 4, which encompasses North Las Vegas and Las Vegas. And so ultimately, I started working on workforce policy probably in 2017 with AB 354, which focused on mandating that workforce agencies come together to work for populations, subpopulations that were in double-digit unemployment. And as we continued to do that work from 2017 to now, under Project 354, what we continue to notice is that there were activities and economic activity that was occurring in the cities where individuals, citizens didn't actually know about what was going on. We were seeing a lot of construction, new restaurants, warehouses popping up, not getting an indicator on who exactly was going to be the tenant. And then citizens were like, I have no idea how I'm going to get hired, where I'm going to get hired, and where I'm going to, if I even have an opportunity to even seek out positions within these economic development opportunities. And so the more that I, looked around and I saw that there were neighborhoods that still looked exactly the same, I wanted to make sure that the cities focused their priorities on communities that had high poverty, so that they can be a part of the economic development, economic opportunity of the city, and all sails will be lifted. You always hear the cities come and talk about, live, work, and play within your environment, but that's also inclusive to poor communities where people are looking for work, seeking work, want to change their economic outcomes, and so this bill does just that. It lays out that the city council must establish a workforce development program in coordination with all applicable agencies and who provide workforce development services. I also have an amendment on this section. I hope you guys have that, which speaks to Section 1, making sure that the workforce development also is inclusive of economic development activity that will include from construction to tenant, because I want to make sure that individuals can participate in the economic growth within their environment. The bill also continues to establish that after this program is created, the process in which they must post and provide information to those citizens. So when I was thinking about this public policy, everybody gets a water bill, right? And so I figured the best place is to put this information on a water bill. You're not going to list all the jobs on the water bill. What you're going to do is list the website to the city saying that there are workforce opportunities available. Come check out the website so that you can see what's available that you can apply for within the city boundaries. And so that was super important because I was looking for a way for the process to be printed, and I knew that in prior policies or in prior city engagement that they had considered posting things on a water bill. So I didn't think it would be something that someone would oppose because it had been a prior practice. The bill then goes on to say that basically the prioritization of the neighborhoods, that you must prioritize high poverty areas, you must report the data to DETR. And the reason why I'm asking that data to go to DETR is because of AB 354 from 2017. So currently we can get subgroup data by population. Actually, it's by demographics age group, male, female, by race, by county. And so this particular information by the cities would actually enlarge that information and move the needle in regards to additional data that can be collected by Dieter under their Bureau of Research, where we could have more of a story to tell about how we're not only changing poverty centers, but changing the workforce opportunities of communities that have remained in poverty for a series of years. And then the bill basically goes on, and then it promotes equity in Section 3, because in majority of these communities, they're shared communities. They're shared communities of color. They're shared communities where all individuals need to have a chance to get a workforce opportunity for the economic development that is occurring within the city. And so it basically says that you cannot prioritize one minority group over another, because I wanted to make sure that everyone was going to get equal footing. You know, in North Las Vegas and even in the city, you have multiple populations that share a neighborhood, but they're in poverty, right? And we can go and drive Vegas, we can drive the city of North Las Vegas, and we can see communities that are historically in poverty. We could go to Yale and Civic Center, and we'll see a community in poverty. We can go to Lake Mead and Donna, and we will see a community in poverty. We can go to Cheyenne and Civic Center, and we can see a community that's been in deep poverty. And we can go to Las Vegas, West Las Vegas, and see communities in deep poverty. We can go down to Stewart and 28th, and we can see communities in deep poverty. And they have looked exactly the same since, I don't know, I was a youngin'. But I wanted to move this policy in order to engage in prioritizing these communities. I know that some people would argue that redevelopment areas are supposed to do that work, but if redevelopment areas were really, really moving the needle around the economic opportunities, then they wouldn't look exactly the same as they did in 1986. And so with that, I'll open myself up for questions.
Thank you, Senator. Members, any questions? I think you're good to go, Senator. We'll have you please sit back, and we'll invite those wishing to testify in support of Senate Bill 246 to please come forward. Understood. BPS, do we have anybody wishing to join us over the phone? Support for Senate Bill 246.
If you would like to testify in support of Senate Bill 246, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue. Caller, please press star 6 to unmute.
Hello?
Hi, we can hear you.
Hello? Oh, I'm sorry. For the record, my name is Michael Yoder. While I'm a state of Nevada employee, I'm actually here on my own time and not as a representative of my agency or department. I support Senate Bill 246 and believe that it would be a good public policy for the city of Las Vegas and North Las Vegas to develop a workforce development program. This unavoidably would become a partnership with the integrated workforce system in Nevada, and where the mission of one partner becomes the mission of all shared partners. This would increase accountability and success outcomes in performing outreach. They've historically experienced high poverty rates. Workforce development efforts that focus on poverty level populations also inherently do more for addressing homelessness, multi-generational education, non-degree credentialing programs. This would bring funding and non-degree credentialing programs to these populations, which would have a great impact on generational poverty. True career development to these populations rather than poverty level wages and jobs. So I thank you for the opportunity to be heard.
And thank you for joining us. BPS, do we have anybody else wishing to join us in support of Senate Bill 246 on the phone?
The public line is open and working. There are no callers at this time.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to invite those wishing to testify in opposition to Senate Bill 246. BPS, anybody on the phone?
You would like to testify in opposition to Senate Bill 246, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue. There are no callers choosing to testify at this time.
And thank you. At this time, I'd like to invite those wishing to testify in the neutral position for Senate Bill 246. And we'll start here in Carson City, and then we'll move back to BPS. Welcome, whenever you're ready.
Good afternoon again, Chair Flores and members of the Government Affairs Committee. For the record, Leonardo Benavides, City of North Las Vegas. We are here today in neutral on SB 246. We appreciate Senator Neal for taking the time to speak further with myself in regards to the intent of the bill. Workforce development is very important for all of us at the City of North Las Vegas. We're currently doing projects with workforce connections throughout their one-stop shops in our City Hall. So we thank her for talking to us on the intent of this bill, and as well continuing to work on us on the regards to some of the concerns that we had discussed previously. So thank you.
And thank you. Please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. For the record, Kelly Crompton, representing the City of Las Vegas. We also would like to thank the bill sponsor for taking the time to speak with us about this bill and hope to have further conversations down the road that we can address some of our minor concerns with the bill. I would just like to highlight a couple of things. I would like to highlight all the things that the City of Las Vegas is doing in this area. Because of time, I'll just talk briefly about the work that we're doing in partnership with multiple entities such as CSN, Workforce Connections, and many other community and business partners. The City of Las Vegas is actively and aggressively applying for federal grants to work on more initiatives. We have received federal grants from the EDA to work on West Side Education and Training Centers, which targets our West Side area of the City of Las Vegas. We also have an East Side Education and Training Center, which is a multi-million-dollar grants through the EDA to expand occupational training and skills in the footprint of high poverty areas. We also, the City of Las Vegas has programs such as Second Chance Employment programs. So at our courtyard in our recuperative care center, taking individuals that were experiencing homelessness or had to use the recuperative care center, once they get back on their feet, employing those individuals back into that area so that they can tell their story about how those entities have helped them and improved their lives, gotten them back on their feet, gotten them into housing, gotten them into a steady income. I could go on and on and on. I have a PowerPoint presentation I would love to submit to the committee once it's kind of cleaned up a little bit, but I thank you for the time to highlight just a few of the things that the City of Las Vegas is doing, and again, we look forward to working with the bill sponsor in the future.
And thank you for that. Look forward to seeing that presentation. Anybody else wishing to testify in the neutral position for Senate Bill 246? Seeing none in Carson City or Las Vegas. BPS, anybody joining us on the phone?
You would like to testify in neutral for Senate Bill 246, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue. The public line is open and working. There are no callers at this time.
Thank you. Senator Neal, any closing remarks? With that, we'll go ahead and close out the hearing on Senate Bill 246. Senator Neal, thank you for your presentation, and thank you all for working with the senator. Next on the agenda, we have those wishing to join us for public comment. Anybody wishing to join us for public comment, Carson City or Las Vegas? Seeing none in Carson City or Las Vegas. BPS, anybody wishing to join us over the phone?
If you would like to provide public comment, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue. The public line is open and working. There are no callers at this time.
And thank you. Members, before I adjourn, I just want to kind of give you a lay of the land where we stand as a committee. First of all, please know that we will not be meeting this Friday. Take advantage of that time to meet with your families, hang out, relax, breathe. That's incredibly important. However, moving forward, we're probably at that point in session where meeting on Friday will probably be a necessity, I know, or excitement, because everybody loves government affairs. So probably moving forward, starting next week, we'll be meeting all 3 days, and anticipate having long days, as we will likely be hearing 3 to 5 bills per day, to ensure that we give an opportunity to have dialogue and engage in those bills that we think have an opportunity to moving forward. So I just wanted to give everybody a lay of the land. I think that's how we'll be moving forward. Obviously, we'll try to give everybody a heads up as we have an idea who's going to be presenting what, and as we're going to have to get creative, because every other committee is in the same place as we are. So oftentimes that means stopping and going into a quick recess or moving bills around. We'll get creative, but we'll make it work. It's nothing new we haven't done. So with that, members, I appreciate the hard work, and this meeting is adjourned.